do? We back in effect, man. Coming back with another classic. Live from the fever. Yeah, we back in the mix, man. Now we're gonna step it up a little bit. In this segment, I'm gonna break down gave you niggas damn near a year. See if you can catch it for yourself. But now we're gonna get into the show y'all how this movie is just like a lot of other movies I've done, a creation mythos flick. And I ain't gonna waste too much time, man. So shout out to the boy Danny, the lovely Donna Summer, D&D. So we in effect. I ain't gonna hold y'all too long because I got a lot to go through. So first and foremost, when y'all gonna like this shit. First and foremost, when it first started off, you're gonna see I'll be forgetting them damn girls' name, but the two young Caucasian women. Well, one of them, I forgot their names. I don't know why I always do that shit when it comes to this movie, but you watch the movie, you'll see when it's coming on. You gotta pay attention to that too when the credits is rolling, because they for to show you why. But now, remember this. They show you that red and that white. So they're gonna show you her with a red and white with a whole, I think she got a soccer team or something. They all got on red and white. She gonna have on a red and white bandana. That's what this, when this goes up, that's the first one, goes right here. The next one to shoot up, the next star to shoot up under that is what? The red one. That's how they show that. They show that in the beginning of the scene just to show you that that's what. And you see another scene too. It's gonna be when Bobby and Tony, when they making a bet after they put the money on the glass and stuff, when the scene shift, you're gonna see it's gonna shift to a red light pointing at the DJ booth or whatever. Of course, many different ways you can look at this, because on one hand, you can look at that where you already see how it all come together. Bobby Speed, the DJ, on one hand you see him got the afro. This would be him in the DJ booth on one hand. It's multi-layered, so just work with me. But that would, this would be him, but he'll be this would be him up here in the on one hand it'd be him in the DJ booth. Then on the other hand it would be Susan and Dave, the couple. They would be that would be them. They're like the main character, so that'd be them right there, Dave and her. And then when they go up, when you see them going up the stairs, going to the club, that's gonna represent them going up the staircase. That's why you're gonna see that dude behind them with the top hat on. Right before that scene, right before you see the dude with the top hat, they start going up the stairs. Dave told her, told Susan, I was trying to get something for wood, talking about the anniversary gift or whatever. He said, I was trying to get something in wood. He said, all I could think of was either a baseball bat or a pepper mill. Now, that goes back to, if you go back to same concept, and we go back to She's All That. When Laney's little brother was coming through when he was coming through the cafeteria with the pepper spray saying black pepper, fresh black pepper. The black pepper is symbolic of melanin. it's that's one thing. So pepper is represents melanin. But at the same time, the pepper mill itself is he's representing Osiris by holding that the Djed pillar. It has the gold bowl wrapped around it because that represents, this would be the Djed pillar, and that gold that piece of gold ribbon he had around it would be the light or whatnot. So that's what that represented. But that's the Djed pillar. They would be pretty much kind of playing the on one hand you can say the Isis and Osiris thing, because when he and I guess you can kind of say Jeff Goldblum or Tony would be like a soot type of figure, because he's trying to come in between Susan and David, so that's kind of like a split thing. But then when another representation of the first spirit to rise up after Star Sirius takes flight would be Jackie. She got Jackie with the red hair. She would be like the so when all this is up here like this would be the root chakra, right? Because the root chakra is always the furthest from the center. So that would be like her, this would be like her red hair or whatever. And then on top of her, if you look at her headdress or her hair, those colors, the way the color scheme, her plaits that's wrapped up in the center of her head, the color scheme that's serious colors. That would be the the scintillating or the scintillator or Star Sirius. That's what that's representing. That color scheme. That's why, like, so if this is her, the red head part of her, the red hair, red wig or whatever would be that, and then the top part would be this right here, that center point. If you ever seen the voice the flickering of Sirius, it's the same type of color scheme, kind of resembles, but as we know, so she would be like the Scarlet Lady in the Bible, or the woman in red that they was talking about on the Matrix or whatever. But at the same time, she would be kind of like you can kind of look at her as not necessarily, when I say set in this sense, I'm not necessarily saying she would be like a Nephthys, kind of like a Nephthys type of figure, but or set, but not necessarily in a evil or more demoralizing way, more so in a way of him being uptight, coagulated. What she did was help him loosen up and get loose. So when you loose, if you coagulate, you uptight. But then when you take the concept, when you take it out of the concept of Osiris being cut into different pieces in a bag, when you take it out of the moralistic framework and just deal with it for what it is, you can look at her, lady in red, soot, red is his color. You can look at her as loosening them up. So when you all uptight, okay, but then when you get loose, you know what I'm saying, you everywhere. You know what I'm saying? You baba kazoo, baby. But so when she loosen them up and whatnot, that's why she telling fucking up. Give me 1 second. Go get my boy. Go get my goddamn kinfolk. Put him in the building with me. But when she kind of loosened him up or whatever, you know, got the blood flowing and shit. He all, you know, he like the It's like he was like his uptightness would be like the mummy and the mentor. When he going in there, he'd be like the mummy, you know, mummy rap Osiris. Cause he's uptight. I don't want to be here, jumping up and down with these lunatics and all that shit. So he'd be the uptight. But when he meet with Jack, her red hair, like I say, the first one up was this one, and the next one right here was would be the root chakra upside down. But it jacks up. Jackie. That's why she's the scarlet lady thing. And then when you see when it's coming on, when you see the girls coming out after playing softball or whatever with the red and white on, the next person they're gonna go to is Marv, the leather man. And his job is called Jax or something. So you see the red and white, and then after you see the girls in the red and white, they go to his job, and you see the Jax written in blue and orange. And as we know, orange comes next after the root chakra and the Boy G Biv setup. So it's red, orange, and then the sign is orange and blue. But so I guess the blue refer to the throat chakra, but not trying to just necessarily stand up. You can see a particular order, but it's kind of like, you'll see what I'm saying. But after that, that's pretty much, I had to go back and look at it again. But that's chakra conversation. They just showing you the process of raising Kundalini energy. So you got that aspect. Jax, this his spirits up, loosen him up, put a little narcotics in his body. Niggas need sometimes to get to doing their thing and shit. All it up, you know, which is what partying is for, to get you loose or whatnot. And we'll get a little bit. I want to deal with a lot of this creation stuff first, and I have to. We'll go back over some other shit. Cause I want to really get heavy on this shit right here, but. And we not really talked about the getting loose stuff, whoop out in the first two or whatever. So, but we'll kind of do a little recap on it, maybe in the next video, next one or whatnot. But so yeah, that's when he say that about the pepper mill, he say a baseball bat or he say either a baseball bat or a pepper mill. The pepper mill. Remember I told you about the meals. Meal means little grains. General Mills, cereal, Prince of Cereal. These would be the meals. Right? It's always. See, that's what I was trying to avoid. Yeah, that ain't gonna work. Let me get right here. All right. So y'all need to close up on that real quick. You see those little dots? You know, that's the darkness right here. But if you see the little dots, I'll try to, yeah, you can see them a little bit. Those will be the little mills, the little dots in there. MILLS, the mills. The pepper mills. So the pepper would be so you got the yellow or the gold ribbon wrapped around, you got the gold ribbon wrapped around the pepper mill. Which would be the light, and then the pepper would be the black spot or the dark spots or whatnot. But when they going up that stairs, he had just said that about the bat. Then they go up the stairs. It's a dude behind them with a top hat on while they're going upstairs or whatnot. So while they going up, the dude with the top hat represents this. He represents the energy. The top, with the one thing the top hat represents is when the energy is when the energy when that golden light comes up through this right here, comes through the center and starts spilling out through all the different angles or whatever. And then when all that shoots out, it's like the bill of a hat, like a bill of a top hat. So it'd be like a hat. But the bill the Billy Bat. That's where the whole Billy Bat thing comes from. The bill is the circumference, and the bat would be the cooling energy of the light raising up through the center, twin pillars or whatnot. The Billy Bat. That's why the animal and bat, the actual thing. This would be the bat. So you look at this. When you see Batman, okay, for one, this would be when this goes from here to there, that's the bat flying up, right? But then it's upside down. That's how does when you ever seen Batman? You see him sleep. He sleep upside down sometimes. So his head would be here, and this would be the rest of his body. But it switches up too, though, because like I said, when you look at certain mythologies, this is the woman. This would be the if you're looking at it from the feminine aspect, this would be the woman, but that's where it should be the red head, because this would be the head of whatnot of whatnot. Tricky to explain, but anyway, you see what I'm saying. But the bat would the bat and the bat. So that's that. Okay. So they're gonna see the girls coming out of the softball thing with the red. They're gonna be red and white. They're gonna have T on their shoulder. The T means the body. Red, the mother blood. The red physical blood pertains to the red is a root chakra. Root chakra deals with physicality. T deals with physicality because T is representative of the human body. The bat, the ba-T, the ba, B-A, which means soul. T, the body. Body and soul, whatnot. When you see them with the red and white on, that's what they're symbolizing. The red being is representing the root chakra, which deals with physicality. Red is the color of the mother blood. The mother aspect of creation is the physicality, which pertains to the T. So you see that the red T, T was white. The red, the rest of the gear was red. And then after that, you're gonna see I did the orange and blue thing. You're gonna see the Goodyear blimp. Goodyear blimp got Mercury on it. The shoes with the wings, that's Mercury. Mercury, what does Mercury do when the thermometer when things get hot? Rises to the top, right? So you got Mercury right there. And then you're gonna see another club, which is a real club, El Rey. I think it's still around. El Rey. El means star, ray, sun ray. The L of the stars, and then of course the light in the middle will be like a ray, but the ray is really when this part. Of course, I know y'all probably. Yeah, so this would be the ray. That light coming from you see the light coming from the sun. That's the ray, and these would be the L's, the stars, or whatnot, or planets, or whatever y'all want to call them, the same shit. The spears. So, and then you're gonna see another. That's why you got this all doing. Well, this part right here, I'm saying right now is doing the credits. You see you're gonna see something called Lotus. You're gonna see the Lotus car, advertisement for a Lotus car on a billboard. The Lotus, the lotus flower when you go into India or whatever. The lotus flower grows out of the mud. So, just when this goes up right here, it creates, this would be the lotus, the pillar itself or whatnot. That's why you see a lot of Indian mythology. They speak on like Buddha or Horus being in a even Moses in a what's that shit called, bulwark or whatever. It's like a plant or whatever. Horus on the papyrus. In India is the lotus. The Buddha sits on the lotus or whatever, which this would be the lotus. Oh, sorry about that. I need space, man. But yeah, this would be the lotus right here, and this would be Buddha, Horus, Moses, whatever you want to call it. That'd be that. So you'll see the lotus thing when it's coming on. Oh God, I did all right. And then you're gonna, this is another part too now. When they on the elevator, with Tony, he on the elevator. The man gonna have the gorilla outfit on. He's gonna have the mask in his hand, but that's Arnie. That's the dog, the ape with the dog head. So or Anubis or whatever. Annie. When you look at, now let's start there. We'll deal with the gorilla. Annie. It's even one part on the movie where he says let me be honest, I'll break that down later because I want to really get into it. I don't want to just blurt out some shit, but I'll figure it out. But anyway, but we just stay right here. The gorilla. So now mind you, Arnie is the saluter, the dog-headed ape, or the ape with the dog face, right? When Maddie, when she gets her getting a hamburger, you're gonna see another part in the billboard in the background for a place. It's gonna say "Tale of the Pup." Tale of the Pup. Anubis, on oop or on up. So when it, I remember, I always tell you, when this here takes flight, lifts off. This one here is the hound going up, the dog, and then everything coming behind it would be the tail of the pup. Or you can look at it as just the dog, and then 700s coming from behind, up behind him. He's sniffing out the way, or he's the opener of the way. That's what Anubis is. Anubis, on pull, or on up. When they say on noop or on up, it's on up. But if you take the P and turn it upside down, it'd be on which they got that too. They got what you call the Anbu branch. The Anbu branch of the golden branch is actually, of the Anbu is the bush. This would be the branch, the Anbu branch, but this would be the bush, the Anbu, the gold, which means golden branch or whatnot. Boy, I was gonna say it though, but me and Lee, I got a chunk from Hood on some, but I hold that. Now let me see. So, just trying to make sure I got everything right here. Oops. Yeah, the man with the brim. Yeah, so yeah, we did that. And then you see he was black. Saturn, Saturn is the black planet. He has the top hat on. The top hat is a reference to Saturn or whatever. So you got that part. Now, another thing you gotta look at too is when Carl and Kenyon, when they get in the club, you're gonna see the polar bear. Now the polar bear, of course, that's when that's referring to the moon, or when all the energy rises up. The polar bear or Arctic would be when all this goes up, bam, and creates this, and then this would be the polar bear. When all this goes up and it freezes up, and that water that comes out of the middle and then stops right here and freezes over the surface of what is going to be the Earth, and all this goes up in here, that will be the polar bear, the Arctic, or whatnot, the Ice Age guy. The pinball, you're gonna see the pinball machine. First and foremost, you know the pinball machine got the flaps on the side of it, whatever. So the flaps of the pinball would be this right here. When the ball comes down and the pinball, the flap, one of the flaps hit the pinball, it shoots it back up. So these would be like the flaps pushing the pinball up. So this would be the pinball, the pin and the ball, the pin and the ball. This is where the word party comes from, ball. Oh y'all, I got something coming for that too. But you won't hold that ball. What you seeing on that movie with them partying at a balling is this. This is the dance floor. Now, okay, on one hand, this is, as we know, God always just do a rundown. As we know, this right here would be this. If you was under here, looking at the top, this would be the bottom of this right here, the gold, and then the top would be dark or whatnot. But as you know, when this rises up, it's like the club opening. This rises up, then all the light comes, they coming into the party, the light going up this way, going that way, they going on the dance floor. When that happens, that which was once that dark surface right here, the dance floor, the vinyl, the record, body, and all this, and the darkness becomes this, which will be when this, is fully, when all these are set up, all them are down there, this is gold right here. That's the gold man. So you'll have all this, and even those little balls of light will be shining so bright, it'll be just like 7 suns. So the way, cause on here you can see the melanin. And then the right here is the light inside, but it'll be just like, these will be shining just like the sun. Just like when you look in the sky, you don't really see the center of the physical sun. The physical sun is black. The light you see is emitting from inside of the sun or whatever. But all these will be shining like 7 suns. So all that will be glowing. It'll be a glow going throughout here. This would be Osiris, or what you call Nefer. Nefer, which is Osiris in his full form. Now, gold. You have in Egypt what you call the Ka. Ka, the Ka spirit. There's 2 kinds. One of them is basically would be your just imagine yourself, but well, use a damn movie. Put it like this. When you look at when this, go ahead and get to this now. Then another part when it was coming on, you gonna see Donna Summer at the on Nicole at the she gonna be at the I think the store was closed or something. She gonna be knocking on the door. She got the money in her hand. She gonna have money in her hand, like, hey, trying to tell them she's trying to get some out of there. You gonna see a gold mannequin standing next to the guy. So what they trying to show you with that scene is, this is how we were pre-spiritual or physical. Or this would be like, that would be what you would call like a ancestral spirit of the way we was pre-physical, when everything was just, or you can go for it, say your car. Your car would be your doppelganger, your double, your golden double. So when you raise your kundalini and it hits the pineal gland, and your all the light that's within every inch of your body comes online and illuminates the melanin throughout your body, it'll be your all gold part of you within you. That's what they're showing you with that mannequin. With that mannequin, that's why I said at the beginning, because they're showing you the world before the physical. Everybody got the man right on one side, and then they got the golden mannequin right there, and you got Donna Summer with the money in her hand, like trying to get in to buy some or whatever, which is Osiris to the green money or whatever, the green and gold. So this would be like Osiris, gold or whatever. Then you'd have light spewing out of these right here. That would be the legs. So I got the praying mantis look to it. So that's that on that. But that was a key too. I just caught that like about a week or two ago. I said, man, I ain't never peeped that part. But yeah, that's what that is. That's why I said at the beginning, because it's showing you the pre-physical shit, the pre-physical way we were. With that gold mannequin. And this would be summer. That's why that's the other thing too. Because as you know, now when the sun is in its most northerly position above the earth, it's summertime, right? But then right here, when all these go up and the sun is being created up here, the earth is froze. So now the way we live in is opposite. So after the creation process took place, now it's like when the sun is further beneath. When everything is cold, the sun is down here, under this earth or whatnot. But at first it happened like that. But if you was to call all this going up in the hill and this all freezing up and all this being a wonderland, you used to call that winter. That would be winter when all this is up here and all that light shoots out the sides. That will be equivalent to what we call winter right now. But what will be summer will be when all these lights, just like summer right now is when the sun is in its most northerly position or highest position above the earth. This would be when the light is at its highest, it's operating this highest level, because you have all the light going up right here, and then you have all that light in the surface. So that whole surface will be lit up. The soot process takes place when, or the dancing. So when you look at Dave, when he turning the Baba Kazoo, that would be him dancing. So the dance would be one of the things dancing would represent movement. So when this that little part in between these two finally disconnects and start going up, and then all that light that's flooding the surface, when it starts retracting back, that movement would be like the dance. Remember I said these are the legs coming down like that or whatnot. So each one of them going up, it'll be like a dance or whatnot. Plus the whole earth is spinning while this is taking place. You got the earth spinning, and you got this golden light, and you got these gold legs right here. And then when they start just going up or disappearing, that's like a dance. It's like doing a dance or whatnot. So that would be that right there. And of course you got the ostrich. You keep seeing that ostrich in there. The ostrich is the ostrich got the long neck. Then you look at the ostrich body. Then you look at this right here. You will see this is the ostrich right here. That ostrich you keep seeing. You're gonna see one scene. I think in the beginning when they get the table, when Susan and David at the table, you're gonna see one shot of the ostrich. You're just gonna see one eye of the ostrich. This is what they're showing you that this is the ostrich right here. So that was that. So then you have Maddie, her and I forgot the other girl name, but Maddie, they start talking about the zodiac signs. And now they in a club, they in a club called the Zoo. It's called the Zoo. Another word for zodiac, is zoon. Zoon, which means a circle of animals. So the circle of animals would be, of course, the zodiac sign and whatnot. Even the even signs like the Gemini, you be like, well, that's too human, but it's like, yeah, but it's even humans are the human part of you, even a human's part of you is actually like your lower self or your animal, where your animal self dwells at. So it's like that's why you see the theme of the animals within the movie. You see the gay guy in the restroom. He's the flamingo. You look at his nose. You look at the flamingo. He ain't all pink or whatever. But even him, when he throws the fan, when you see him whip that fan out, that's the Ku, Khu in Egypt. That's what the fan is called, and it refers. And you got all types of different fan gods and goddesses, especially when you get off over there. That's why in Asia you see with the fans and stuff. They got like a lot of different mythologies with it, but these would be the fans right here. You had an ant in the middle, but this would be, you see how it looks like a fan? Look at that, when you flip that fan out, look how that is. Well, you can tell that just looks like a church fan or whatever. So, that's why you see him do that. And if I ain't mistaken, Dave says he's a cockatoo when he on the dance floor with the tie on his head. The tie on his head, so he getting down too, but the tie represents the celestial belt of the earth. So it's tied. If this was his head, the tie be tied around it, and then the way the end part of the tie that's falling down his head would be this part right here, the tie or whatnot. When you see the tie around his head, it represents the equator or whatnot. Not the equator, the fucking, what they call that shit? Not the equator, what the fuck they call the circumference of the earth. We just say that it represents the edge of the earth or the circumference of the earth or whatever. But it's, that shit called not the equator. No, that's the, here it comes to me. But anyway. Yeah, so Maddie, she's talking about the zodiac signs. She's saying it's crazy for a guy to come to a club in her friend's car, but she is showing you the hypocrisy of a contradiction. She's saying it's terrible for a guy to come to a car with, scrubs. She said it's terrible for a guy to come in the passenger side of his homeboy car, but then a homeboy like, well, shit, bitch, you riding passenger side with me. So what does it make you? She's like, oh, it's different. It's like, oh, you're moving the goalpost. Oh, okay, we get it. We deal with that a lot these days. So, but yeah, man. So we can deal with the guy. Okay, so we deal with the guy with the top hat. The tip in the hat. The tip, whole tip hat. The hat would be this would be the tip. This would be the cap of the hat, and then all the energy when it shoots out of here and surrounds the spear, it would be the brim of a top hat. Maddie, she represents one. Maddie is Mayat on one hand. On the other hand, Maddie would be the mat. So that's why she was. Okay, so first and foremost, Mayat. You go see Mayat with the wings in Egypt. She's spread out like this here. This Mayat. You see the Mayat, right? Mayat represents the center, equality, balance, justice, right? But at the same time, one of the names for Mayat is Mayat or it's Maddie. That's what you just say, are you Maddie or are you of Mayat? So, that's one thing. Another thing she represents is Ishtar or the whore. Now, I'm gonna show you. She says something about polyester, right? Let me show you what's going on. This shit is all inclusive. I'm gonna be honest with you. Show you how deep this shit is. This here is couples. Man is the light, woman is the darkness. Man, woman, man, woman, man, woman, man, woman, man, woman, etc., etc., right? So these right here, they booed up. So somebody who prefers a booed up life, would be a booed up life would be more relevant to this right here. When that light comes up, when that light comes up and starts spinning through here, this is the promiscuity. These are being in here would be being a gigolo or being single and just doing your thing or whatever right here, the dance floor or whatnot. That's one way of looking at it, but that's why they call, when they say they talking about the promiscuous whore Babylon and all that, when they say the whore of a prostitute, they're referring to a woman who deals with who's not committed to just one person, right? So when you hear like, that's why the prostitute is she's a lady, you like, oh, she's a whore, or she's a prostitute, she's selling a pussy, and you'll be like, we kind of within the moral lens of modern day times, we look at that as like, bad, or she's going to hell and all this shit right here. But in all actuality, that's Johnny Come Lately. When you hear them, I'm trying to think of an example. What is that? Well, let me break it down like this. All right. So yeah, but when you dealing with, so when you hear about like Ishtar or whatever, first and foremost, in ancient times, brothels and women selling their ladies of the night, as we call them, that wasn't necessarily frowned upon. That was a choice that was understood. And you had certain women who came down here to provide their service to do that, whether you want to believe it or not. But the more and more you start to study ancient mythology which is way more informative than Orthodox religion when it's Orthodox religion when you take it on face value. You will see a lot of you have a lot of prostitute goddesses or goddesses who could be invoked to protect prostitutes in particular. Which is why I said not too long ago, I wouldn't get on camera and tell a woman what not to do with her, or what to do or what not to do with her body or whatever, or shame her because she chooses to be a lady of the night, whether it's legal or not. But because I understand the science behind it, because at the end of the day, it's just an exchange. Fair exchange. Ain't never been no robbery. Now she's stealing nigga money. She stole that. And if he rape a man rape a woman, that's different. But if this is fair exchange, you have two people. One wants to spend money on sex, and one wants to sell sex. That sounds like a match made in heaven to me, or two things. Two things attracting each other. Two things attracting what they're looking for, or whatever. So that's one thing. But you can't stay stuck in just the physical manifestation of that, because, what they mean on the physical, or just the regular physical mundane level, because on the other hand, when you hear about the prostitutes or whatever, this is what they're talking about. They're not just necessarily talking about selling sex. On one hand, when they talk about the whore, promiscuous woman, or whatnot, or whatever, the whore of Babylon, polyester. She said polyester, right? Poly means many, right? And you got ester or e-star or polystars. So on one hand, polyester, because mind you, towards the end, you're gonna see Maddie leaving with all them guys, going to the jacuzzi party, orgy, so to speak. This would be the orgy. So, this is melanin, the darkness, the woman. All those flickers of light that comes up through here and floods that darkness to create this. The light being the masculine energy. This is that whole thing where they talking about Lilith didn't want Eve, Adam on top of her, whatever. But this is when the masculine energy comes through the center, covers the top up. That intermingling. Even when you look at this, right? You have one melanin cluster, and then you have a spirit light within it, right? One spirit light. The promiscuous one, or Ishtar, the underworld lady, you can't really see it. Let me see. So, let me see if y'all can see. I kind of tried, man. It was kind of hard doing this shit up in color pencils, but to see even the light is taking up too much. But anyway, these would be actually, when you look from afar, when you look close, the yellow takes over. But actually, these would be all black with specks of light all over. Each one of those specks of light, the darkness would be like one woman, a coagulated ball of melanin. And those little specks of light over it would be the men, or multiple men, which would be akin to the woman who deals with multiple men, as opposed to the woman who, the melanin cluster, but only has one light in there, whatnot. So I'm showing you how our life just, it's hard to explain. Just, I can use this shit to show you which makes sense because this is the creation process. Before we was even able to be here and have these psychological ramifications about ourselves or whatever. All this shit comes from a place. And you can trace everything from mentalities, all kind of shit, right to this shit right here. That's why when you go watch Sambo and they tell you got Sambo Black God of Asia by Eugene Adams, and it tell you that he must create a city. That's why he was telling you that. Because this shit is not no joke. Like, I don't know. I think niggas get to the picture by now. If it's somebody that don't get it yet, then I know what to tell you. But that's why this shit was so important. Even just on the strength of showing niggas, these niggas running around here talking about the earth is flat and shit. I was like, tell you, man, my mind is, I ain't trying to brag, but fuck that shit. I remember when I looked at, I was at work, I remember this shit like 2014, 2015. I looked on I saw some, and I never even was worried about what, to me, the world always been both, really. But I never, when niggas started talking about, who the flat earthers? I seen that shit on YouTube or something. I remember I was at work. And I think I seen niggas arguing about that shit a few times before that. And it was so stupid, I can't even, I ain't gonna just say, it just didn't make sense. But one day I said, you know what, let me think about this shit. Because I never considered the flat shit. But then one day I saw that shit and niggas arguing, I said, no, let me think about it. About a minute, I said, man, it's both. Flat surface, round at the bottom, round at the top. A spear, but you just don't see the fucking the magnetic force field over the earth that was left by the moon, which sits as a dome over the earth, and that visible dome represents the other half of the spear. But even when you look at it, just look at the earth, it's the flat surface, and then it's like a bowl. So it's both. The flat aspect of it would be the flat part, the top. The spear would be this. And then this would be, we were just looking at this as the earth regular after everything is created. The blue, this would be the force field. The blue you see in the blue of the sky that you see is actually like a reflection of the water, the blue seas of the earth, reflected off of that force field or whatever. But the mat. This is a mat. Kenti Amenti, Osiris laid out flat on the Kenti mat or whatnot. Or Kenti means skin, which is the skin too, that's the skin. But what's the other thing called the mat? Maddie, Mayat, Matty, the mat. This is why she was real sexual. When she started talking about polyester, she talking about a dude in polyester on the dance. And mind you, when she say polyester, she talking to a homegirl, but they looking on the dance floor where the poly thing is going down, or just dancing. Just to keep it, but it all runs in accordance with the divine whore thing, which I know y'all probably like, how can a whore be divine? It's like, well, that's why you can't be around here. You have to be careful when you judging shit around here. Like I said, I'm doing the research right now, and I'm waiting till I get to writing this book. That's why I ain't gonna be kind of tight-lipped on certain shit, because I'm gonna have to say some of this shit from my goddamn literature. But yeah, I can show you multiple feminine. As a matter of fact, who that was. Man, I can't remember that. Was it Lily? It's one mythological story where you see the redemption of the whore. No, she was. But I'll break it down with it. Anyway, 53. Man, that shit went by quick. I ain't even finished the first page. So anyway, yeah. But that's why Maddie. Plus, if you look at her, her homegirl white, but you look at her, she Italian, but she's like she one of them Italians that might be passing for white. She damn near like a nigga. That's why she got that big nose and shit. Then she got a hamburger in the beginning of the movie. That's refers to the cow. The cow is Hathor. Shout out to Phyllis Hyman. She came through. Cause she is of that Hathor energy. She a big deal in that Hathor realm. Phyllis Hyman is, that is. Shit, even her name, Hyman. That's them. She got a song called I think Sex Goddess or something like that. Goddess of Love or whatever. But she's a real sexual individual. But Phyllis Hyman is the bomb, man. I need to go back and listen to some more music. I heard a few joints. But yeah, she's that chick, man. I just hate how I be noticing a trend, man, fucking with them doctors. A lot of people, man, before they like, I'll give you an example, Bernie Mac. You remember right before Bernie Mac died, what happened? Fucking with them doctors, start swelling up. That unusual heavy look. Same thing happened with Phyllis Hyman. So whatever they doing, well, Phyllis Hyman, she allegedly committed suicide or whatnot. I haven't really did the info, see how true that was. Did the research to see how true that was. It could be alright, but you never know when you deal with these fucking shady industry people and shit. But they sent a note she left. She said she was tired. I could see that. Just like with Mike, I have my suspicions with that too. I'm not just gonna say suspicious, but like everybody think he was. That's at the end of the day. That's another thing too. We went from not suspecting these artists as well as Donna, because before Donna passed, they sent some fucking black roses to a fucking doorstep or some old shit. I don't know, man. But we went from not suspecting these artists being killed or whatever to now everybody that died was killed. Don't get me wrong, I know it happens, but then sometimes we have to stop and say, hold up, sometimes people just die, you know what I'm saying? Just like with Mike, they be like, oh, the God killed him, he poisoned him. I'm like, I don't know, man. Because I remember they was saying Mike was on that propofol. Shout out to Mike too, yesterday was his transition or whatever. They were saying he was on that propofol, which keeps you asleep all day or whatever. And like I told you, I know what that is. That's the way I was in my first couple of years doing my bid. When you went up, he wasn't in jail, but he probably felt in prison based off of the circumstances that he was living under. He probably had went through so much shit, he was to the point that he was like, man, fuck this shit. You know what I'm saying? Because when I heard he went to sleep, he was taking that so he could just stay asleep. I was like, he may have just left. I ain't ruling out the other shit, but and one of the reasons I say that shit too is because I don't think they could fuck with Mike like that. Like, you prove me wrong if you know something I don't know, but and who knows, maybe one day get real in a nice little meditation or something, and get some answers from you. I mean, excuse me, for you. But I don't not saying it ain't possible, but sometimes we gotta take the power back, even if it's by not always suspecting these people are able to do that. Cause when I look at Mike, I'm like, you know, they killed him. I'm like, oh man, I don't think them people want to fuck with Mike like that. Like, you might know some I don't know, but I don't think they want to fuck with that guy. Like, that's how you have to look at shit sometimes. Sometimes they kill people, yeah. But then when I look at Mike, I'm like, I don't know, man. Cause this nigga was hooked up. He was that nigga for real. They just broke him down without his, at least within the eyes of the public. So it's like, I don't necessarily think that's what happened to him. I think, you know, he probably just left in his sleep or something. He's like, man, fuck this shit. Cause like I say, when the motherfucker, that's what I was telling you about Pimp. Shout out to my nigga Pimp. I was talking about Pimp C. Same thing with him. The niggas down there talking, oh man, he was down on the meds, looking crowd. Like, nigga probably was trying to sleep through his bed. Cause who the fuck want to be around here? Especially a nigga like that. He's been out here, hoes and shit, sipping, drinking. You know, I was too, but not like his degree. You know, he was a star and shit, right? Fucking the whole shots. I know that nigga. I was fucked up. I know that nigga probably. You just wake me up when it's over. That's just my take on it. So I look at, and like I say, he was on the side. You know what I'm saying? The unit I was on when Mike passed, when I got there, Pimp had just left. But Pimp wasn't there. He was in that city. The same way they had me stationed at Michael's unit, a unit named Michael's, while I was waiting to be transferred to Gib Lewis. Wherever he was at got fucked up by a hurricane too. So they sent him to Gib Lewis based off the hurricane thing. And then, but he was just over there temporarily. And I don't know if they fixed, I think he was on terror unit. I don't know if they fixed terror unit or wherever he was at, or he just went to another, they shipped him somewhere else. By the time I got there, he had left or whatever. But I was down there with his people though. Some just kinfolk down, I was down there. I fucking with them boys. Pimp had left already. He had just skied up from over there. I said, ain't that a bit? But when they were saying it, like, yeah, he was on the med, man, or had him sloppy, that man nigga probably was trying to sleep through all this whole ass shit. Plus, he a nigga that sipped drinks, so in the world he sipped drinks, so you know, he probably was trying to get that, relive that, get it whatever type of downer or sedative he can get in that motherfucker. He probably was on that shit like that. That's probably why if that's true, I don't, you know, niggas be talking or whatever. So I'll go ahead and hit y'all with this one, and then we'll have to bring it back next week. I'll probably go a little harder next week. I think next week I'll probably sit down and go ahead and do about 2 or 3 of them real quick or whatever. But about 2 or 3 hours. I wish I could go further on. I wish I could just go straight through, man. But this motherfucking computer be on bullshit, man. But polyester, yeah, that's polyester, polystar, mini stars, or poly stars being light, masculine energy, or whatever. So poly could be the woman with the many women with the many masculine counterparts or whatever. Just like you're gonna see her in the elevator. She will be in the elevator with all them guys, and she gonna tell her homegirl she gonna leave her home. She tell her homegirl, I'm finna go with them to a jacuzzi party or whatever. And you look at the niggas in the background. Them niggas look like, yeah. It was like they was going to do more than swim. They was gonna do some swimming. But yeah. But the Maddie, that's why her character is Matt T. Because that's what she was, the mat, the cot, the bed. or whatnot. And these would be the light over the darkness would be like the masculine energy over the feminine, and then when the light clears out, and then leaves this. Well, you can't really see the shit anyway. I don't know why, but and leave it like this. After all the light comes out here and shoots out here, it creates that bill of the hat. Those little dots that are left behind are like star seeds or children or whatnot. So those will be the little Horuses which come forth. Horus resurrects out of the death of Osiris. When you see Osiris on Nephil, it means Osiris in his full form. Means that this would be a form of Osiris in its full form. All that light is flooded throughout there totally, and this ladder is totally set up. That's Nephil or Osiris in its full form, and then the dismembering of his body by Set would be, of course, when the light starts to disappear by each one of these absorbing each other. That's the disappearance of Osiris, and then when all that light goes out of there, when this breaks up, it's in its full form. When the soot thing takes place and all this goes right here and it shoots out, the resurrection out of the death of Osiris is the stars that are left behind. The stars represent Heru or Horus, the little specks or whatever. So the disappearance of the total covering or the surface being totally covered by the light going to into the retraction mode and then going out, that would be like the death of Osiris, whatever, which leaves behind those little specks of light or whatever. But that's the blind Horus stuck in the because when that happens, all this will be dark and dry, barren, desert type shit or whatever, because all the water is frozen into the moon. And so those little specks left behind would be the Heru aspect down here. Up here, you have Horus. When all these go up in the hill, you create it creates Horus in the form of the sun or whatnot. Or Raha Kahudi starts because he's Horus on the horizon, so they don't start till after. But all that goes up here. Even when you see your man, it's gonna be one scene where your boy Floyd gonna be playing. You're gonna see him playing drums. The drums represent when all these go up and then the sun comes back down and boom, hit that. That's the drum. You're gonna see him playing the guitar. You're gonna see him playing the saxophone, the horn, which corresponds to that right there. Yeah, that's the that's one. You're gonna see a lot of rainbows in there too. The rainbow just represents Roy GB of the 7 colors. The red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet or whatnot. Even the violet, when you see the beginning, Maddie gonna have that drink sitting on the dashboard, right? It's gonna be purple. It's gonna be sitting in front of her because, like I said, she represents the Maddie. So violet is dealing with the pineal gland. So she represents this. They're going out this way. But then this will be the violet right here, whatnot. This would, the one under it would be violet. And then this would be the 8th chakra or the halo or whatever. But that's what they're trying to show you right there. But yeah, $10 to get in. 0s and 1s, take you back to the matrix. 0, the 1, you got 7 in the middle, 8, 9, and then the circumference will represent the whole, which will give you another one, which would be the 10 or whatever, or the rim of this right here, which would be the 10. So it's $10 to get in. The 50, you're gonna see the 50. Uh, 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 the 50 represents. You're gonna see two. One for the light. 150. No, but the 250. You gonna see when they bet. I think he put 250s on that glass or whatever. But the 50s represent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 50 sacred the Dogon as well. Get a book called Serious Mysteries. Maybe I'll pull that out on the next one. But yeah. So he betting 50 against I think them some damn 50s up there. But Jeff Goldblum 50, so he got the 250s would be 100, but 50, 55, 5, 10. And I think it's a scene in there where you're gonna see 5 something in like a billboard, like some type of cell on a billboard with 550 in the background of the movie, or whatever. But it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for light, and then you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for darkness. 250s. And then the like I say, the man on the elevator, he's on the elevator, they're going up. The dog-headed ape on up. This is on up. And then on pool. No, the P. Okay, on new, but it's kind of okay. On up. It's they all broke it down on bull, whatever. But then you got on pool too. But on bull is the brand. On pool is another version of Anubis. But it's the bottom part. The pool would be the P and the U. But we dealing with the or the P and the U, the pool. This would be the pool down here. But when you say on up, it's up. The light which is on is going up. On that's what it's on up or Anubis, the dog-headed ape or whatever. So you got the tail of the pup, which is the restaurant that was in the background, and then you got a little bit after that you're gonna have a scene with Jeff Goldblum them going up in the elevator, and the man got the gorilla suit on. They going up, elevating, and this is the dog-headed ape, Annie, the saluter or whatnot. He got the gorilla mask in his hand or whatever. But we'll stop right there. I'll give you two. You're gonna see a lady in blue with her legs crossed. The crossing of the legs represent the compass, which is used to navigate or travel or whatever. And, you see it with the Masons and all that. But the compasses just represent. See how this compass, angles, compass. So that's what she represents. So we'll stop right there for now. So I'm gonna upload this. Y'all niggas, man. Then I can have a little bit more fun with the next one. I wanted to get straight down to it on this one right here so I can get this out the, make sure I get to the business. But we'll be back, man, so y'all niggas just hold tight, man. Peace.